Once your data is in place, you often want to show this information either for yourself so you can draw more conclusions on what the data is saying and referring to. And what I'm talking about is put it into a chart or a graph that you can work with, and even put things against each other to see what information is there. But really, overall, it's a visual of the data, of the information, so that whether you're presenting it or you're having to analyze it on your own, sometimes people can relate to the picture better than they can the data. So before you choose your chart, one good thing to know is that you tend to choose the data that is in parts. And what I'm talking about is not choosing totals. You can, there's nothing wrong with that, but just remember, if all you're trying to do is say, hey, I want to look at project task and I want to look at all of these pieces come out to these totals. So you may or may not want that as a part of the graph or the chart. So think about what you really want to display as a total piece and then choose it. So I've selected all of this except for the calculated totals. Okay. Then you have all of this area up here. This is on the Insert tab. And you have charts in here and you have pivots. We'll do that later. You have different types of charts in here. And then you even have recommended charts. We do a whole session on that and what that's for. So be aware, as we've shown in a different session, that right down here, this quick analysis option is still there. You can click on that. And charts is one of those options. So you could show a clustered column, a clustered bar, stacked column, clustered column. So all of those are readily available right there. Let's go on into more charts. And this section shows recommended charts. Again, we'll do that in another section. But if you click on the All Charts tab up there at the top, you'll have some recent ones. We haven't done any yet. If you've built some templates, you can get access to those. But other than that, it's starting with your column charts. We're going to do a whole session on working with column charts, what they mean, and how you can visually work with them. We've got line charts. We'll do another section on those as well. And then you have pie charts. Now, this is one that's typically the most popular. It breaks things out. And by the way, I wanted to show you this. If you move your mouse over the chart, it gives you a bigger picture of what it looks like. And it even has the pieces that we are defaulting to. You can click on there. That's a 3D pie. Pieces of the pie. Labor hours, so stacking them up. And then the donut. Not many people use the donut, but that's what it looks like. There we go. So those are pies. Bar charts. You've got clustered bars. You can see that. Chart titles and different ways to see it. Stacking the information up so that it's got all the different pieces of labor costs, labor hours, material costs. All of those are in there, and it's showing them as a bar going across as a stack bar. Okay, so some very unique ways to look at it. 100% stack bars, meaning not one. When you do 100%, it just takes it all the way across to show 100% of all of the cost and what is, what percent of 100%. So 3D clustered, here we go. 3D stacked bars, and then you've got your 3D 100% stacked bars as well. All right. Okay, then areas, the next one. Now, as you work with area, you're going to see very different visuals here. Boy, those would be interesting to interpret. Stacked, there we go. 100% stacked, so it takes up the whole area. Some nice little design visuals here. And you've got 3D versions of that, so they stack onto each other. And as you're looking at these, sometimes information gets hidden depending on where it is in the chart. So it may define how you list your information as well. There we go. So those are all area. We're going to go into scattered type charts, so we'll come back to that later. Stock, to create this stock chart, You have to put it in your data in your worksheet in a certain area. So it's basically giving you volume type information just like you would in a stock chart. You want to see trends, all those kinds of things. Surface, very strong visuals, but you definitely have to know how to interpret these and why you would use that. That's pretty eclectic, but pretty cool. There we go. Lots of different information. So depending on what type of information you have and how you're trying to show it, we'll go into why you use one chart over another. So here we go with radar charts. This is good when you're trying to see how close you are to certain measurements. So you can, are you really dominant in one area or the other? And the last one is combo, where you've got clustered column and a line chart going, good for trending as well, and it allows you to make secondary axis and different chart types based on what your series are. And series are, in this case, that was these items right here, or they could be going across depending on how you tell it to show it. You got stacked area, and then you've got a custom one where you can really type or choose a lot of different options for what one will show over the other. Now, you have to be careful with all that because it may not make sense. So number one, understanding what each chart is for is very important, because you could get in there and start working with the data and then it will present it the wrong way. So you need to make sure what you're working with is exactly what you want. So we're going to go with some 3D look here. Let's try this one. Here we go. So you choose one and you click OK, and it creates it. And as we get into fine-tuning these, we'll start working with these things like chart elements, styles, and filters will become available. But a chart itself is able to be, enlarged or shrunk, depending on where you need to put it. You can cut it and put it on another section of the worksheet, or put it on a whole nother worksheet. You've got color changes up here. You got color sets that you can work with. There we go. So make it more visual, less visual. You can put some backgrounds to it. So these are the kinds of things that we're going to be looking at as we start to work with different charts. And this was just to show you lots of different chart types.